I remember the moment I realized everything was gone. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it was quiet, too quiet. I had just come back from the grocery store with a bag of apples and a bottle of wine, the kind she liked on weekends. The house felt hollow, like a stage after the actors have left. No shoes by the door, no coffee mug in the sink. Her scent wasn't lingering in the air anymore. At first, I thought she was just out with friends. But then I opened our bedroom closet, empty, completely empty. The hangers were swinging slightly, like they'd just been used. My stomach dropped. I rushed to the bathroom. Her toothbrush? Gone. Her perfume? Gone. Her side of the dresser? Empty. I knew. I just knew something wasn't right. My hands trembled as I opened the banking app. I typed in the password, praying it was some cruel joke. But no. The joint account, the one we built together for over 6 years, was zero. Nothing left. Every cent withdrawn 2 hours earlier. I stared at the screen, blinking. I checked the withdrawal history. One massive transfer to an external account, an account I didn't recognize. My heart pounded like a drum in my ears. That money was supposed to be for our future, for a down payment, for our trip to Italy, for our life. And just like that, it was gone. She was gone. No note, no message, no explanation, just silence. I sat on the couch and tried to breathe. How do you process betrayal when it slaps you in the face out of nowhere? I replayed every recent conversation. Did I miss something? Did I ignore a red flag? We weren't perfect, sure, but she said she loved me just last week. We laughed at a movie together, we made plans for next month, and now this? I dialed her number. Straight to voicemail. I texted. Nothing. I called her sister. No clue. Her coworker? She hadn't been in since yesterday. I was spiraling. I felt like a fool. Like I had been living with a stranger. Like the past 6 years were some elaborate con, and maybe they were. But here's what she didn't know. I had a backup plan. You see, I've been through hardship before. I've been burned in the past. That's why when we opened that joint account, I set something up on the side. Not because I didn't trust her, but because I knew life had a way of knocking the wind out of you when you least expect it. I called it my break glass in case of emergency plan. She didn't know about it, no one did. It wasn't just a savings account. It was a map, a digital trail, a quiet network of safeguards. And in that moment, while she thought she had disappeared with everything, I was already pulling the first string to unravel her game. I logged into a private email address she didn't know existed. It connected to a hidden Akana mirror of the joint one. Not the same amount, but enough. Enough to survive. Enough to track. You see, she thought I was just a sentimental fool, someone who wore his heart on his sleeve and never saw a knife coming. But I had learned. I had studied. I had prepared. I wasn't going to chase her with emotion. I was going to outsmart her. I started digging. The transaction that emptied the joint account, I followed it. I contacted the bank's fraud department. I had her ID, her signature, even a video of her from the ATM. The bank flagged it. Then I found the IP address that accessed our joint account that morning. She wasn't far. In fact, she was still in the state. That's when I called in a favor. My old college roommate worked in cybersecurity, a genius with digital footprints. I sent him everything. And in less than 24 hours, I had a location, a hotel, registered under a different name. But her face was there on the camera footage. She wasn't running, she was hiding, and she wasn't alone. There was a man with her, some guy I had never seen before. They were smiling, holding hands, like they were on vacation, like my world hadn't just collapsed. But I didn't act out. I didn't scream. I watched. I waited. Because revenge is best served cold. She thought she had written the last chapter of our story. But she didn't realize this was only the beginning. The best part? The joint account wasn't the only thing in both our names. And what came next would change everything. I didn't sleep that night. Not a second. My eyes were open, locked on the ceiling, as if trying to make sense of the cracks in the plaster, the same way I tried to piece together the cracks in our relationship. I kept thinking back to the moments that now felt like lies wrapped in affection, the way she'd ask me what time I'd be home, the quiet text late at night when she said she was with friends, the times she changed passwords on accounts for security. I thought it was love. Maybe she thought it was control. But now, Now I knew it was a setup. The next morning, I made coffee, just like I always did. I kept my routine like nothing had changed because to the outside world, it hadn't. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't leave a visible scar. You walk around smiling with a wound no one sees. But inside, I was planning, not just to get my money back, but to make sure she understood she had played with the wrong person. I called our insurance provider first. She had removed herself from our health plan 3 days prior, quietly. No notice. Then I checked our mortgage file. That's when the real mistake hit her. The house? She thought it was ours equally. We'd agreed on that on paper. But when we refinanced last year, she was out of the country visiting her sick aunt. I signed the paperwork alone. The deed? It was in my name. Only mine. She never noticed. Never asked. She assumed. And now, legally, the house was mine. And mine alone. So I called the locksmith. Changed every lock. Security cameras? Upgraded. Her key? Dead. And just for good measure, I had the alarm system send me live updates if anyone approached. But I wasn't finished. She still had my money. And that other man, who was he? I needed leverage. That's when I checked our shared cloud storage. We'd use it to save vacation photos, recipes, her resumes, but she had forgotten to disable sync, and I saw everything. She had uploaded a photo by mistake, a hotel room, a shot of a receipt, a flight itinerary, her name, his name. It was all there. I had what I needed, evidence. I printed everything, photos, transactions, messages. I even had a copy of her chat with him. She wrote, "He'll never see it coming. He's too soft." That line burned into my brain. Too soft? Maybe, but not stupid. I booked a consultation with a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, me aunt's friend, a shark in divorce and financial fraud. I laid out everything on the table. She looked at me and said, "You've got more than enough to take this to court, but if you want to settle it quietly, I can make a call." I chose quietly, not for her, for me. Because I didn't want a long public mess. I just wanted justice. I just wanted her to feel what I felt that moment when your stomach drops and you realize everything you thought you had is gone. So I let the lawyer handle it. She reached out to the hotel directly, asked for records, then sent a formal notice to my ex. That's when the silence broke. My phone lit up with a message, unknown number. It was her. "Why are you doing this? You're overreacting." No apology, no explanation, just panic. I didn't reply. I didn't need to, because she had just walked into my trap. See, while she was draining our joint account, she left one thing expose her own account. I had access. We'd signed power of attorney years ago during a health scare. She forgot to revoke it. So legally, I could see every move she made, every dollar she transferred to that man, every booking she made, every hotel room. And now, I had all the receipts, literal and figurative. Her lawyer called next, tried to negotiate, tried to scare me, said, "This will ruin her." I said, "She ruined herself." I wanted it all, half the money back. A formal affidavit admitting what she did, and I wanted it notarized, otherwise I'd press charges, financial theft, fraud, identity misuse. She caved, slowly, bitterly, but she did. And you'd think that would be enough, but it wasn't, because she still didn't know the last piece. The details she missed, the backup plan inside the backup plan, the reason I wasn't broken. And it wasn't just about the house or the money. It was something deeper, something personal, something that would haunt her more than any lawsuit ever could. And she was about to find out, because the one thing she thought was her trump card was never really hers at all. She thought she could walk away clean. She thought draining the account, disappearing with another man, and playing innocent would end the story, but I had one more card to play. One she didn't even know existed. And it started 2 years ago, long before any of this betrayal began. See, I had once been in a similar relationship before her, and that breakup, it nearly destroyed me emotionally and financially. I learned the hard way that love can cloud your logic. So after rebuilding my life, I started documenting everything. Not in a paranoid way, but quietly, carefully. Every joint account, I kept digital copies of our statements. Every shared purchase, I kept receipts. every message that seemed off, screenshotted and stored away. But more than that, I started writing. A journal, notes, conversations, emotional shifts, red flags I ignored. And I stored it all in an encrypted cloud folder titled In Case of Emergency. That folder contained 6 years worth of truth. And when she vanished, I updated it with everything I found: the hotel footage, the text, the financial transfers. My friend in cybersecurity even added a timeline and metadata trace. What I now had wasn't just a case, it was a story, a full narrative. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to destroy her reputation out of spite. I was going to protect myself and warn others, quietly, legally, with facts. I compiled everything into a private document and sent it to her lawyer, along with this message. This is the full timeline of events. If she ever attempts to manipulate someone else financially again, this will be released. No threats, just truth, just insurance. And that's when the second message came in, this time from the man she ran away with. Apparently, he'd found the documents too. She had lied to him, told him I was abusive, that I had abandoned her emotionally. She played victim, used the same charm she once used on me. And now, he realized he was the next target. He sent me a message. I'm sorry, I had no idea. She told me you were the problem. I didn't respond. I didn't need to, because for the first time in months, I finally felt peace. The house was mine, the financial damage, recovered, the emotional wound, healing. But the greatest lesson? Never ignore your instincts. Never give your entire life to someone who hides parts of theirs. And always have a backup plan. The final touch was symbolic. I donated a portion of the recovered funds to a local support group for men who face financial abuse. I even shared my story anonymously with their newsletter. No names, no drama, just the truth. Because men don't often talk about being betrayed financially. We're told to tough it out, but pain is pain, and silence is dangerous. A few weeks later, I received one last package, no return address. Inside was a simple note, her handwriting. I made a mistake. I thought I could run. I never expected you to outthink me. No apology, just a half-hearted acknowledgement. I folded the note and dropped it in the fire. Because some things don't deserve space in your future. And some people don't deserve a second chance. She cleaned out our joint account and vanished. But she didn't know I had a backup plan. And that plan, it didn't just save me, it set me free.